Welcome to our SOAR webinar on support and accountability in Niner Nation. Today we will be highlighting the services of 3 offices here at UNC Charlotte that provide support and accountability to our students and our community. The 3 offices represented in this session include Student Assistance and Support Services, the Title IX Office, and Student Conduct and Academic Integrity. Each office will share information regarding services provided and other information we feel is important for students and families to know regarding our offices. Following this overview of each office, we will answer several frequently asked questions. We would also like to note that the information we're providing as part of this webinar is reflective of the ways our offices have adapted services in light of COVID-19. As the university provides updates and guidance for operating procedures moving into the fall semester, we encourage students and families to visit our individual office websites for the most up-to-date information regarding any changes we may implement. Before we get started, we would like to take a brief moment to review FERPA, the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act, which protects a student's educational record. UNC Charlotte takes the privacy of students' educational records very seriously and wants to ensure that a student has provided their express permission before disclosing any information to someone other than the student. As part of your participation in SOAR, you may have heard about Guest Access Portal, which allows students to grant access to designated individuals to view certain components of a student's educational record, such as account information, registration status, class schedule, and grades. Due to the sensitive nature of the records each of our offices may hold regarding a student, Guest Access Portal permission does not apply to records held in our respective offices. Each of our offices presenting in this webinar require student authorization via a FERPA consent form to disclose student information. Students can work directly with staff in our respective offices to file a FERPA consent waiver. Hello students and families, and welcome to Niner Nation. My name is Katie Russo and I serve as the Associate Director for Student Assistance and Support Services. Our office is affectionately referred to as SASS and is a unit within the Dean of Students office. Our main purpose in SASS is to provide assistance and support to students who may be experiencing a broad range of concerns or challenges that are impacting their ability to succeed academically and personally while at UNC Charlotte. While our office is located in the King Building, we encourage students to call or email us directly with any questions or concerns. Students can also visit our website to review any guidance on how to engage digitally in our services. As you can see from this list, the SASS office provides many services to students to assist and support in their overall success at UNC Charlotte. In today's webinar, we will be highlighting 4 of our main services: absence verification, withdrawals with extenuating circumstances, care and concern meetings, and financial literacy, as these are some of the most frequently used by students. Please note that we also provide support to students who may have experienced bias-related incidents or need to discuss a concern through the grievance process. SASS provides oversight of the tuition, housing, and dining appeals process when students need to request an appeal of certain types of charges due to an extenuating circumstance. Our office also oversees the Student Emergency Fund. We aid students who are considering requesting an incomplete in a given course, and this includes reviewing the university policy and providing guidance on speaking with faculty members about this kind of request. In general, we're available to consult with faculty, staff, and family members about concerns for students, and we can provide presentations to campus partners upon request. We encourage you to visit our website if you are interested in learning more about some of the services that we will not be able to cover in depth during today's webinar. We know that students may experience a medical emergency that requires a student to be in the hospital for several days or potentially for an unknown period of time. When our office is made aware of such emergency situations, whether by the student or a parent or family member, we can notify a student's faculty members that there is a medical or personal emergency and reiterate that when the student is able to return to school, our office can work with the student on verification of their absences. From time to time, we also understand that students may miss classes due to scheduled medical appointments, personal or family emergencies, military orders, and court orders. We also encourage students to reach out directly to their faculty members regarding any absences in class. Our office can provide verification of such absences, provided there's official supporting documentation that supports the dates that were missed. But it's important to note that we can only provide verification on limited types of absences. We have more detailed information on our website about the types of absences we can verify. Students can engage in the absence verification process without physically visiting our office. They can submit an online request form and attach supporting documentation directly to the request. While faculty have the authority to work with students directly, our office can verify certain circumstances when provided with official supporting documentation. If we're able to verify the dates, we will send a notification to the student and copy their faculty members. Any classroom accommodations due to absences, such as excused absences or makeup work, is at the discretion of each faculty member, with or without our assistance. Our role is solely to verify dates on documentation. Sometimes unexpected hurdles have a significant impact on a student's ability to be successful in the classroom throughout the academic semester. The SASS office oversees both the partial and full withdrawal with extenuating circumstances process. These academic options assist students who may need to reduce their course load or take a full break from academic work in a given semester. Extenuating circumstances may include medical or mental health concerns, personal emergencies, or military orders. Staff in our office can discuss these processes with students, along with other academic options that may be appropriate for students' continued success and retention at the university. It is also important for students to be aware of academic deadlines related not only to the WE process, but for students to become familiar with add-drop deadlines and self-withdraw deadlines in a given semester. One of our other main functions in SASS is to connect with students out of care and concern. I previously mentioned that we will send emergency notifications to faculty on behalf of students. In these situations, we will attempt to connect with students to see how we may be able to best support them both academically and personally. Students may also be referred directly to our office by concerned faculty, staff, or other community members, and we will reach out to students to schedule meetings. For the fall 2020 semester, our one-on-one meetings with students will be held over the phone or through other virtual means when possible. During meetings with students, we discuss the concerns brought to our attention, check in with students on how they're managing different challenges, and work together to create a plan of action moving forward to assist in the students' overall success. Students may also reach out to us directly if they are struggling academically or personally. We may refer students to additional campus resources for support. We discuss a variety of concerns or challenges with students. Some examples include academic concerns, financial concerns, medical or mental health challenges, personal crises, and housing and food insecurity. The UNC Charlotte community is also encouraged to take an active role in fostering an environment where all members are welcomed and valued. We recognize some of our students may experience unique personal concerns related to bias incidents. Students are welcome to share those experiences with members of the SASS team. We provide support to individuals adversely impacted by bias-related incidents. Overall, our office demonstrates care and concern to students through our one-on-one conversations. While we may not always be the office that can provide the direct resources in a given situation, we certainly listen to student concerns and help provide information on options and resources that may address their unique personal or academic challenge. A new component of our services in SASS is around financial literacy. We know that challenges with finances can have many far-reaching impacts on a student's success personally and academically. Students, faculty, and staff can reach out to our office for programming or services related to aspects of financial literacy, including budgeting, investing, or credit and debt management. As we grow in this area, we aim to have an online toolkit for students, faculty, and staff to access various resources related to financial well-being. Student financial challenges could also impact a student's ability to buy food or secure housing. The SASS office collaborates with several campus partners to offer the Short-Term Emergency Housing Program and the Swipe Out Hunger Program. The Short-Term Emergency Housing Program supports students who are displaced or in a crisis that has changed their housing security. The Swipe Out Hunger Program aims to provide students who are food insecure or who are experiencing an emergency situation access to healthy and well-balanced meals in our campus dining halls. We hope from our portion of the webinar you have learned a few different ways our office provides support and assistance to students. We welcome students and family members to reach out to our office via phone or email, and we encourage all students to bookmark our website for easy access to information and resources. Please also feel free to follow us on social media for important updates and support throughout the academic year. We look forward to helping students in their personal and academic success while at UNC Charlotte.
Greetings, everyone. My name is Alex Tompkins, and I serve as one of the case managers for the Title IX office here at UNC Charlotte. Please allow me to be one of many voices welcoming you and your student to the Niner Nation. We are so glad you're here. I want to speak with you today about the Title IX office, some of the services we provide, including resources, support, and investigations, as well as some important campus policies, and finally, share a bit of information with you about our online training course for new students called Niners Know. Title IX was established as part of the Education Amendments of 1972 and prohibits sexual harassment, sexual assault, and other forms of sexual misconduct and harassment. There are a few things that the university must do whenever a report of sexual misconduct is received. One, we have to investigate what occurred. This means that we need to understand basic details. This is different than a formal investigation, which we will discuss here in just a few minutes. We have to stop the discrimination. If the incident is ongoing, the university must take steps to immediately stop any behavior. And we have to remedy the effects. The university has a duty to remedy the impacts of this type of behavior and to support the university community. And lastly, we have to prevent its reoccurrence. Wherever possible, the university must take steps to prevent this type of behavior from occurring in the future. In addition to the 4 items we just discussed, the university also has a responsibility to educate community members regarding relevant policies. While there are a number of policies that pertain to Title IX, the one that I wanted to highlight for you here today is the university's definition of consent. UNC Charlotte has adopted what we call an affirmative consent policy, meaning that the absence of a no does not mean yes. In fact, the policy states specifically that there must be unambiguous, clear, knowing, and voluntary approval given by words or demonstrated actions to engage in sexual activity. The Title IX office will spend time ensuring that we connect with students each semester to educate them on this policy, but we are asking for your help before they arrive. Have conversations with your student about consent, about this policy, and make sure that they understand their rights and responsibilities prior to their arriving here. In addition to providing education about policy and providing some of the remedies that we've discussed, the Title IX office is also responsible for assisting students who may be in need of support. A student who is referred to our office following an incident of sexual misconduct or interpersonal violence will have the opportunity to speak with a case manager about any needed resources or support. There are a number of resources available, but some of the most commonly requested include academic accommodations, as well as referrals to on and off campus support. During that meeting with a case manager, students will also be provided with a copy of our interpersonal violence resource guide. This guide will list several resources both on and off campus, as well as detailed information about our formal investigation process. As mentioned, the student in the office will receive a hard copy, but students, Faculty, parents, any community member is welcome to review this guide at any time. It is available online on our website at title9.uncc.edu. It's also important to know that meetings with a case manager are optional, meaning that if a student is not ready to receive support, they do not have to come in. The office remains available to them should they ever wish to engage in the future, but again, we won't compel a student to come in and meet with us to discuss resources and support. It's also important to note that students don't have to share a tremendous amount of detail with their case manager, meaning that they won't be compelled to share their story when they arrive in the office. By virtue of them being there is enough for us to provide accommodations and support. In addition to providing resources and support, students may be able to request a formal investigation into an alleged violation in instances where both parties are UNC Charlotte students. A complainant and respondent, as they're known in our process, will meet separately with a trained staff member known as a Title IX investigator. That investigator will also interview any identified witnesses by either party and gather physical and documentary evidence. The Title IX investigator will then complete an investigation report, which will then be provided to both parties for review. Throughout the process, both parties have the same rights and opportunities, including having an advisor and or a representative present at any related meeting or hearing. In addition to some of these resources that we've discussed and some of the steps that we can assist with, I also wanted to take a moment to share a little bit of information with you about our course called Niners Know. Now, we will be discussing in a separate venue with your student about our hopes and expectations for this course. However, I'm asking all of you as parents and guardians, as friends and family, to also support us in this endeavor of getting this course completed, ideally before students arrive to campus. Students will receive an invitation for this course via their UNC Charlotte email address. It is via our online portal called Canvas, which students will also get a little bit of information about during their sessions for orientation. Again, the course takes about an hour to complete. It is highly interactive. It is filled with lots of different videos and scenarios to help provide some really concrete education surrounding these policies, as well as resources on campus. So again, if you could encourage your student to complete this training prior to their arrival on campus, we would certainly appreciate it. That really poises them to arrive on their first day with an excellent foundational understanding of Title IX and how to seek out support if they ever need it, or perhaps how to connect a colleague or a peer with support if they were approached with a concern. Thank you for taking time to watch this brief presentation about our office today. Please note at the end of this PowerPoint, we have included a frequently asked questions section, but should you have any questions beyond that following the conclusion of the presentation today, please do not hesitate to reach out via any of the contact options listed here, and a member of our office would be happy to assist you. Once again, thank you so much for your attention and welcome to the Niner Nation. Go Niners!
Hello everyone, my name is Kayla Lindquist and I serve as the Associate Director for Student Conduct and Academic Integrity. Like my colleagues, I'd like to take a moment to welcome everyone to the Niner Nation and express how excited we are that you and your students are part of our community. For my portion of the webinar, I'll be going over some of the university policies that will hold your students accountable to during their time here at UNC Charlotte, as well as some of the programs and opportunities our office offers. The purpose of our office is to uphold academic and community standards as outlined in university policy, which I'll go over momentarily, encourage personal accountability and responsible decision-making, promote student learning, and reduce and prevent behavior that undermines student success and community safety. We are committed to providing a fair, impartial, and efficient process facilitated through compassionate conversations in which students are heard, respected, and treated with dignity throughout our process. From our office's perspective, there are two main policies we want all students to be aware of. You can find full versions of these policies linked on our website, scai.uncc.edu, as well as on the Legal Affairs website. The first policy is University Policy 406, which is the Code of Student Responsibility. This code outlines non-academic misconduct and community standards. It also lists your students' rights and responsibilities within our process. The second, University Policy 407, is the Code of Student Academic Integrity. Again, this lists the students' rights and responsibilities if they are alleged to have conducted some sort of academic misconduct. No matter what process your student is going through, the purpose of our conduct process is to help all students be successful. We know that students often feel a lot of anxiety when they receive letters from us stating that they've been referred for some sort of a violation under our codes. If your student receives one of those letters, strongly encourage them to meet with us. Their perspective matters. We want to know, to the best of our ability, what occurred, and a vital part of that is to hear your student and to hear what happened from their perspective. We will, during our meetings, describe their rights and their responsibilities under each of these codes, as well as discuss what different adjudication methods might look like and potential outcomes. Again, we strongly encourage all students to meet with us so we can best understand what happened and hopefully provide some additional resources to get them back on track here at UNC Charlotte. As responsible community members, we need to help take care of each other. We know that in some cases, our students find themselves in a situation where they or someone they're with or care about are experiencing a medical emergency due to the consumption of alcohol or drugs. In those situations, we never want our students to be too afraid to seek out the medical attention that somebody needs. We have a help-seeking protocol on campus to hopefully reduce the barriers and the fear that comes with making a phone call and encourage our students to do the right thing without having to worry about conduct-related repercussions. You can find out more about this policy at helpseeking.uncc.edu. One of the resources we recommend for all of our community members is the Live Safe app. This app has lots of different functions, including the ability to receive emergency notifications, the ability to call or text message our police and public safety, the ability to report crimes through pictures, videos, or audio, or report crimes anonymously. Students also enjoy the ability to track our buses in real time and virtually walk with friends and family. Additionally, students are able to access emergency manuals and office information from multiple resources on campus through this application. We strongly recommend that all of our community members download it to their smart devices. And finally, if your student is looking for new ways to get involved on campus, we do have opportunities for students to serve as part of our peer conduct review system, known as our Student Conduct Board. We are opening applications this fall, and this is a great opportunity for students who may be thinking about law school or criminal justice or just have a general curiosity and investigative nature and want to get involved in a different way. Again, applications will be opening up this fall, and you can find out more information on our website, which is scai.uncc.edu. You can also contact us using any of the information on this slide. As stated at the beginning of the presentation, we strongly encourage you to check out our websites for the most up-to-date information on our operations due to COVID-19.
Okay, so now we're going to jump into some frequently asked questions that we have commonly asked during presentations like this. So we want to give you some additional information regarding our offices and our services. We'll start off with student assistance and services. So Katie, if you would, what happens if a parent or a family member contacts SASS with concerns about their student?
So we definitely welcome family members to call our office if you're concerned about the overall health or wellness of your student. Keeping in mind though that if there is an emergency situation that requires an immediate response, we encourage you to reach out directly to our campus police first. However, if you're just wanting to connect your student to our office, or if you're trying to notify us of a recent hospitalization or medical emergency for us to send our emergency notification, then we gladly will listen to your concerns, and then we'll reach out to your student to offer support. Please also keep in mind though that without a FERPA consent form from your student, we would not be able to share back information with you. We will gladly share general information on the ways we provide support, along with additional campus resources that may assist in a specific situation.
And if a student has a chronic illness or reoccurring medical concern, what can they do about that?
Sure. So for chronic or reoccurring medical conditions, we recommend that students actually seek out assistance in the Office of Disability Services. This office assists students with various accommodations in the classroom should there be an ongoing medical concern that might impact their ability to be successful in the classroom throughout the semester. Students can register for services through that office for those particular concerns, and we highly recommend that students connect with that office at the beginning of the academic semester to ensure that any possible accommodations can be utilized as early as possible. And students can visit this office's website, which is ds.uncc.edu for more information on the registration process.
And then what are some of the top resources or offices that SASS will refer students to on campus?
Of course. So staff in the SASS office work really hard to listen to a student's unique concerns or challenges to determine the best possible resources to refer a student to. Therefore, we take a very individualized approach to determine referrals to campus resources. And given the types of concerns that we discuss with students, we often refer students to disability services, along with counseling and psychological services, and the University Center for Academic Excellence. And we also provide guidance to students on how to connect with faculty within their respective colleges as well.
Thank you.
And so at this time, we'll move to questions for the Title IX office. So Alex, the first question is, does my student have to participate in an investigation in order to receive services?
Yeah, so the way the Title IX office functions is really to seek to empower students who come forward and who are looking for something, for services or resources or support. And so with that in mind, no, students do not have to pursue a formal investigation either through the Title IX office or through the criminal justice system in order to receive services. Lots of our students who come through are really just seeking some of those initial services. So faculty accommodations, referrals to campus partners, as well as outside agencies. All of those things are available to students without them having to move forward with an investigation.
Thanks. The next question for you, Alex, is how can I connect my student with the Title IX office?
Yeah, so this does come up from time to time where parents or friends or family members may want to work to connect a student following some type of disclosure with the Title IX office. Perhaps the most efficient or direct way to do that would be simply to reach out to our office directly via phone. All of our contact information is available on our website, title9.uncc.edu. But through that phone call, really would be an opportunity for you to share information with our office. Similar to our colleagues in the SASS office, without a FERPA form or FERPA release on file, it would really be an opportunity for us to gather information. We would be pretty limited in what we could share back. However, we'd be happy to speak broadly about process, what some options may be, and what outreach might look like generally for all students. So if you had specific questions following connecting with our office to get your student connected with us, we would definitely encourage you to reach back out to your student after a couple of days and see maybe what their experience was, maybe what that outreach has looked like. But again, we would be limited in what we can share. In addition to a phone call, there are formal incident report forms available online. If you go to incidentreport.uncc.edu, all of those forms are accessible for you, and we could certainly collect information that way. Those forms are generally utilized by folks who are on campus, but they're certainly not exclusive to that group. And so if you're more comfortable filling that out, that's certainly a great way to connect your student with the office. However, a phone call is perfectly sufficient as well if you wanted to call, ask questions, and work to get your student connected that way.
Thanks, Alex.
All right, and then looking at student conduct, we have a couple of questions for this group. And so I guess, Kayla, will you tell a parent or family member, or really anyone, if a student is in trouble?
Sure. So thanks, Alex. We get this question quite frequently, and similar to SASS and Title IX, it would depend on whether or not we have a FERPA waiver. So we often get in lots of information regarding incidents, and in some cases, we are able to disclose information, but usually not without the student's consent. It has to rise to a certain threshold before we would be able to involve another individual, because those details of the report are very personal to the student. However, there is a clause in FERPA that says if a student is put on conduct probation or higher for a drug or alcohol related offense, then we are able to send notification home to a parent or a guardian to let them know that we've met and that we've connected their student to resources. So in general, we're not going to tell you up front, but if your student would like us to engage with a further conversation with somebody, then they are able to fill out a waiver form, and we're able to further collaborate with you and the student on whatever their case may be.
Awesome. And can a faculty member, excuse me, can a parent or guardian or someone else attend a conduct meeting with this student?
Sure. So oftentimes students want to bring another person for support into a meeting, and that's okay. Similar to my previous answer, we would just have a waiver form that we would have whoever is attending that meeting fill out, or rather the student would fill out to give us permission for that other person to be in the meeting with us. And so as long as the student signs off on it, we're okay with people attending the additional or attending meetings with us.
And then, does my student really need a lawyer?
Sure. So we get this a lot. In our letters of referral that we send to students, there is a paragraph that talks about the student's right to have a representative participate in our conduct hearings and our meetings. This comes from a state law that allows for attorneys to participate should the student want them to. And this would come at your student's own expense. We don't provide one from the institution, but they are able to have somebody else attend if they would like to. We apply this right no matter what the conduct charge happens to be. And so even low-level situations, like a noise situation in housing and residence life, a student could bring another individual who could also be an attorney if they would like them to be into that meeting. Whether or not they really need one, though, is really up to the student and really up to y'all as a family as you discuss things as to whether or not you would want to engage in hiring somebody else to be a participant. Sometimes it's helpful if people are comfortable with it to meet with us first and maybe ask some questions about the case and maybe gather some more information before they make a determination on whether or not they want a representative to be a part of the meeting. And similarly to what Alex shared, you could always call us and we can kind of talk through in general situations. And then if we had a FERPA waiver on file, we could talk in more specifics about the case prior to the meeting to determine whether or not you want to have a representative. So we're happy to at least talk through that with you if you should need more information, but ultimately it's up to the student as to whether or not they would like to hire an attorney to participate.
Awesome. And then how will responsible finding or finding of responsibility impact a student and their records?
Sure. So this comes up quite frequently as well, because we know that our students have lots of big goals and lots of big dreams, and they're very worried about how maybe an early on incident could impact their future and their education. And so through our conduct process, we use responsible and not responsible as our findings. And again, because of FERPA, we are limited in what we're able to disclose to third parties. And that includes future employers and opportunities on campus that they might be applying for. There are, in some circumstances though, opportunities like study abroad or leadership opportunities like becoming an RA in a safe counselor, an orientation counselor, and things of that nature that would require a student to be in good conduct standing before they would be eligible to participate in those programs or participate in that role. The student should know if we were disclosing a conduct record because they would sign a waiver form that would allow for us to do so. It's difficult to know exactly how a responsible finding will impact a student's record, but we do take privacy very seriously and go through that with the student before they sign any resolutions with us so they can know a little bit more about what they need to take into consideration. In general, though, when people talk about records, they're often referring to transcripts. And so I want to make a distinction between conduct records and transcripts because in particular, there are only a few situations where we would make any sort of a notation on a transcript, which then would maybe speak to an outside party a little bit more about maybe there's some sort of an internal record that we have. And if a student was in a position where there would be a notation on their transcript, we would talk about that during the meeting so they would know that prior to accepting any sort of a resolution. In general, though, a majority of our records are just maintained in our own internal database and only disclosed if we have the appropriate waiver forms on file and only disclosed to the people who the student have given us permission to disclose it to. I think that kind of wraps up the majority of our questions. Now we understand you may have some additional ones after you've gone through our information, so feel free to check out our websites or contact our offices individually and we're happy to assist you further. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.